Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission, said that the majority of those who apply for asylum in Europe are not in need of protection. They're coming from safe countries. Now, say that again. The fact that the majority of those who apply for asylum are not in need for protection. Now, you won't see that in mainstream media news in Ireland anywhere or whatever. But this is I'll leave the link to this. This is on a website, EU Observer. And she was also saying that when it comes to returning them, that the system isn't basically fit for a purpose, right? So what I'm saying is economic migrants are different. They've skills to offer, etc. But there's a new type of migrant taking advantage of international protection, you know, and the asylum seeker rules. Last year, more than 60% of those who applied for asylum in the last 12 months at Dublin Airport had no identity documents, according to the Department of Justice. The category does not include Ukrainians. In the period from February 2022 to January 2023, 6,926 people who applied for asylum at Dublin Airport, a minimum of 4,213 or 61% had no documents. And these figures do not include those who presented false documents to border officials, only those who had no documentation. Now, a lot of people are saying like that people who are giving out about this are racists or fascists. Now, these people they're coming in under the guise of international protection, but they're basically economic migrants. But are not economic migrants in the traditional sense. Like, in the past and at present, there's economic migrants. Like, we have Irish people going to Australia, America, etc. as economic migrants. But they're going the legal route. They have skills to offer, and those countries, if they want them, will accept them, but they go the legal route. Now, people like that are coming into our countries at the moment, they're getting smuggling gangs to do stuff to get them across the channel, say the English Channel, and other things like that. But if they had legitimate claims, they wouldn't have to. You know, you just go through the proper process. You'd be delighted to have your documents. Like the likes of people coming into Ireland, whether they're fake documents or no, or proper documents, why are they getting rid of them in the toilets of planes or in the airport toilets before they hit the border control? They know they're having a chance, but they're not coming to work. They're not coming to apply for work or work visas. They're coming to, you know, because they're in a bad situation. I give them that. They're just coming, and they know that once they say that they're looking for asylum, whether they're entitled to it or not, it's going to take years for some of them to be processed. And they also know that after this happens, that there's a good chance they won't be sent back. So it looks like a win-win for them. You know, I wouldn't mind going to some country and be put up in a hotel or a house or even a mobile home for about 4 or 5 years, fed the whole lot. You know what I mean? It's nice. You don't have to worry about bills or anything. Like, they're not Egypts. And if there's a soft-touch country there, that's the problem with the soft-touch country. Not those poor people coming over. Like, they're only better in their life. But the downside to it is it's coming out of my taxes, and it's coming out of your taxes. And there is people coming from war zones that do need proper protection. And because these lads are clogging the system, you can only spread out whatever resources the country has to look after proper refugees. Like the people coming from Ukraine, they're coming in under the European Temporary Directive. There's a war going on. They're coming in legally. The other lads arriving at our doors from other countries, there's some of them coming in from safe countries and not being sent back. And I know we had a government minister lately tweeting in languages pertaining to those safe countries, saying that you'll have a hall door key in 4 months, 4 to 6 months. And that has created a spike in the amount of people coming here. But The other thing is, members of our government now are saying like that they're going to have to tighten it up, and they've started putting Gardaí in the airports where flights coming from countries that people are most likely to look for asylum but don't entitle to it. Like, so the government's starting to see it, Ursula von der Leyen's starting to see it, only starting to see it. People on the streets of Dublin, Cork, Killarney, whatever, they've seen it from the beginning, and they know like that it's not right to have undocumented people coming into this country. They're blocking up places for genuine refugees, but also they're putting a burden on the state. Once they get here under the UNHCR Act on Refugees, they're entitled to accommodation, health, food, etc. And like, that's putting a big burden on the state. We're paying for people that knew they hadn't got a chance of being offered international protection, but they still come, you know. So it's just the ordinary people who basically working class areas who are getting these undocumented people coming in, you know, that they're in fear. The social fabric of their communities now is getting upended, and it's not good enough the way the government's handling it. There should be a speedy process, and there is ways of doing it. I know there's other countries have methods where they liaise with the airlines to get the cabin manifest. Recently I heard that there was no accommodation for 200 people who were looking for asylum, and then 400, and now there's over 500. Now this isn't a surprise because there's so many people coming into the various countries. I'm only talking about Ireland, and there's millions. And if you listen to one minister, Roderick O'Gorman, he's in the Irish government, he wants people living in disadvantaged areas because of the climate. He wants those also eligible as well. So they're going to just keep coming. So at the moment we're at 500. After a while it's going to be 5,000. And these people are going to be living in migrant camps, and they'll have no money, and they're going to be just walking around, you know, bored, etc. Mostly male, you know what's going to happen there. So then, this is happening in other countries. There's other countries having to use barges now and ships to put them on. But if you take Ireland, for example, just say we keep letting in people like that. Just say we start building accommodation. Just say we start building the houses just for them as they come in. I know, this is hypothetical. Just say every square inch of Ireland or every square metre of Ireland is covered in houses, and they're all in. What will happen then? They're still going to keep coming. There's going to be no room for them. So now you're going to have to do 2 stories, 3 stories, 4 stories. And I'm talking just hypothetically here. But eventually you'll come to a stage where you say, this has to stop.